Kingdom of the Planet of the Action. Welcome back to Coming This Summer. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I can tell you what my biggest pet peeve on the fucking planet is, and it's these Planet of the Apes names.
The names are not good.
Kingdom of the Apes. Rise of the Apes, War of the Apes. You don't need Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
They couldn't just start doing the thing that some movies do and put like the main name in parentheses somewhere, and then do like how Star Wars was doing like a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
No one said a Star Wars story. They
Right.
said like Solo.
Yes.
A Star Wars story. This could have been Kingdom, a Planet of the Apes.
A newer example, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Boom. It's not Mad Max Furiosa, a story about a girl who was in a movie played by Charlize Theron and now not.
Yeah, once we get to like 5-6 words into the title, maybe start.
Yeah. If you have to put "of the" twice in your fucking title, fuck off. Stop it.
Too many.
It's so annoying, dude. It was like the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
That was a little long
too
too.
long,
This is
man.
longer though.
This is way longer.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I like this movie though.
That's a pretty good
It
movie.
was a pretty decent movie. Judging, like, coming off
Okay.
the fucking trilogy. Did you watch War?
I did not.
So
I
you get
did it-
spoiled for War at the very beginning of this.
I did. I got like a YouTube plot synopsis.
Okay, there you go. You
'cause
should really watch
I was
it
running out of
because
time because we
It's
had to
really
get
good.
the.
Yeah, regardless of
That's the
reviews
only
or
one I've not
whatever we
watched.
do.
I've
Yeah.
seen all the classic old school ones.
See, I've never seen any of the classic.
See, I
old
like
school
Planet of
ones.
the Apes. My biggest problem is it's starting to become the same movie every time.
Yeah,
Because we're getting
Yeah.
to a point where, like, in the canon of this universe, like, there's not a lot.
we've done so much.
They-
Yeah, the
It's the
humans
same-
are gone and the apes
Right.
are up.
Oh, we found another pack of humans. Maybe we can trust them or not. I don't know. You know what I mean? It feels like every that was my. Dude, is the movie awesome? It's not a bad movie.
It's pretty cool.
Is it look probably as good or better than Avatar? I don't think I've seen special effects in a movie that
The
good.
water bugged me.
Oh, the ape people though.
Oh, the apes look
Holy
great. The water at
Jesus.
the end, where it's all like, it looks kind of
I
like,
didn't even really notice.
looks too like shiny
Okay.
and like maybe video gamey. But
Okay.
that might just be. I might have to go.
you were like.
It was good.
I don't want to give spoilers away. I mean, we're
No.
opening weekend.
Yeah, and it's every movie ever. Main character faces turmoil, has to go on an
Yeah,
adventure.
it starts like a lot of. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming of age, and this kid needs to do a thing, but so he can become
Yep.
an adult. And you're like, wait a minute.
Which he's one of the kids from the It movies that they just did.
Okay.
Like grown up now,
I
obviously.
was all hyped.
Yeah.
Owen.
Yeah. Noah is the name
Yeah,
of him,
but I mean, like,
Owen Teague.
Something like that.
Right? Yeah,
Look at
okay.
that. Us getting the name. Yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but yeah, to me it was like. I had a problem with the satellite thing too. By the way.
Oh yeah,
At the
that's
end, like,
the end. Yeah.
Satellite's still working 300 years later.
Is it 100 years later?
300 years.
It's not though. It can't be centuries after because there's still people in like people clothes.
I know.
The main chick
I
has
know.
jeans on.
I know.
My jeans don't last 3 fucking years.
Now, where are you buying your
I
jeans?
know.
It's funny.
Levi got the formula down.
Yeah,
okay?
right before the end.
Right before the fall.
So when you see that on the news, it's over.
That was the subplot of Dawn or whatever the one is where with Gary Oldman. That was the subplot. They're like, we got to get the water and electricity working, but also we got to perfect this gene formula.
That's what I mean. We went from like we can barely keep things going to we got to fire the satellites back up.
In War of the Planet of the Apes, the monkey virus is mutating again to turn people back into beasts. It's like people can't talk anymore and they lose like their basic human instincts. So they're like becoming apes. And this one, it's like, yeah, but not all of them. It's like, what do you mean?
Well, because
Like
that
they
makes
find
sense.
the zebras
Yeah, like,
and then humans roll up. And it's like, but there's also a whole tribe of like smart humans still. Like, this can't, I refuse to believe, and I know it's probably whatever the director came out and said it, but it's not 300 years after. This is like 20 years
because you
after.
saw before me and you were like, yeah, I
no
read
way.
it's supposed to be a long time, but it doesn't feel right. And then I went up and looked the synopsis, and it's literally like 3 centuries have passed, and I'm like, well, that doesn't seem.
The movie starts, and it's like, spoilers. It shows you Caesar in his burial.
Right.
You know, we're like lighting him on fire, doing a whole Viking thing. And we get like the squad from like the first movie. It's like the orangutan and like Rocket or whatever.
Squad.
The squad, bro. The fucking squad. There's a shot in 3 where they're all on horseback, and it's the fucking most
The
badass.
Avengers, like, you gotta-
fucking, it's literally the Avengers shot. And I'm like, fuck yes, dude. This movie rules. And then we get this one, and we're like, yeah, we're not doing any of that. Like, even though Noah is a good character, who like I grew on throughout the movie, but it's like I texted you. I'm like, it was decent. It left something. Something didn't quite capture me. But god damn it, bro, there's some hype fucking moments,
There
bro.
are.
When he's like bitching to the bird or whatever, and the bird like comes on his arm, I'm like, let's fucking go, bro. Or at the end, when they start like singing, like all the birds are like attacking, I'm like,
with the
fuck,
eagles?
yes,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm saying,
So good.
see, to me, this is like, we have people argue with us about like the Kong Godzilla movie. Like,
Yeah.
well, there was this cool thing, but that didn't make, there wasn't enough of those
Doesn't make the
cool
movie
things
good.
chained enough
No.
to get. This still had, this special effects alone will make
There's
you go,
characters,
holy shit.
it's a plot I care about. I know everyone's name.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you one name in fucking Godzilla X Kong other than Godzilla and Kong.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is a better movie, and it's a good summer blockbuster. But it reminded me a lot of, we were talking before we came on, of the Tim Burton one.
Yeah,
It had a lot of those weird,
vibes.
like the human, like you said, like 300 years later, but she's got like a tank top and jeans on, and she's like, we gotta get back to my base to tell my people, you know. And it's like,
Yeah,
the
I
settle-
know
it's like-
everything. It's like I'm Mark Wahlberg coming from space.
Get me the spaceman.
It's like,
It
but
was
you
weird.
but you aren't.
But you're not.
But you're not.
And it's 300 years, like you said, like. So they just been handing down these ravaged clothes for hundreds and hundreds of years.
The main problem I had was the villain.
What a wonderful day!
I think Proximus Caesar was like the weakest villain in
barely-
this franchise. He's
barely
barely
in
in
it.
it. And they even have this fight at the end where it's like, yeah, they defeat the villain. Spoilers, obviously. It's a fucking movie. You know, they beat the bad guy. But he fights this gorilla before.
Yeah.
And it's like that gorilla was more of an antagonist than Proximus fucking Caesar.
Yeah, I've read a lot
Like,
of reviews too. People are like, I
what?
like the bad guy, and I'm like,
The bad guy sucked.
really?
Buff Elon Musk from our Abigail review, which I was delighted to learn. The villain sucked. That was the only. It felt like, God, what movie did we just watch where it was like the villain was kind of meh? Like Godzilla Kong, the villain was like, eh.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, the villain was like,
Meh.
kinda
Yeah, we
meh.
keep getting a lot of meh villains.
meh villains. Because it's like they defeat him at the end. Meh.
You make a 2.5-hour movie,
He's
and
not really like,
you prod along too long.
but he's not like doing anything like malicious. He's like, I'm giving all you apes a home.
No, it's basically like,
you got to work for me, but I'm giving you salvation.
Right.
Like you
He's
don't got
not-
to worry about the outside elements if we're building a fucking kingdom here.
it's almost like they're showing you they're going through the same thing we did.
Yeah.
Like, they had like a cool leader, and now he died, and they all the different clans,
Yeah.
because they all feel like they're right. And then,
Right.
As I'm saying, this movie kind of like restarts again, everything again, and you're like,
It just peters along. Yeah. And then they beat the bad guy at the end, and then they go home. And it's like, oh,
until next time.
that's it. Until next time. Which are we even going to focus on these characters anymore?
I mean,
probably
it
not.
felt like there was a lot of world building instead of focusing, like a lot of.
The bird thing was cool.
was
Their
cool,
whole
but
like
there's-
civilization was dope. He's like,
Mhm.
my father's the master of birds. I'm like, that's a fucking cool name right there.
Master,
Master
yeah.
of birds. I'm like, fuck off.
Like
Dude, that's
Metallica
awesome.
album.
Yeah, master of puppets. Master of birds.
That's a release that not many people.
Wow. Wow. Master of canaries. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better ones we've seen so far this year, at least for me. I think
Yeah, it was.
it's on
it was really
the
good.
better half scale than we've seen.
I recommend people going to see this. You don't need the other Apes movies to go see this
No,
one,
you don't.
other than the very beginning. Like, but
Which
that
they
just,
catch
like,
you
it
up,
just
though,
reminds
pretty
you.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like
that's-
here's the lowdown. You know, apes were apes, and then they drugged, and now smart apes, and
And
then
people were.
and then you know, well,
You've seen the other 8.
you've seen it.
I'm gonna give it a 7. Just a flat 7.
I'm at a 7 too. I think I need to go see it again for sure. While
Yeah,
it's
I
still in
actually would
IMAX.
like to see it
Yeah,
again.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in IMAX, just regular.
Oh, okay. No IMAX sound. No IMAX
That's
picture.
what you were telling me.
No IMAX sound, and I think that was because there was problems.
They
with
might
my
have been. They
screening.
might have just grabbed the digital copy.
They
'cause
probably
couldn't
grabbed the
get-
digital copy and played the IMAX thing right before it.
If you guys didn't know, a lot of movie theaters don't get some of the movies now digitally until like an hour before showtime.
If that,
If that.
an hour into showtime.
Sometimes mistakes happen.
Mistakes.
Nice. That's a good thumbnail. Too bad it wasn't worse, because then you could have just said mistake.
Mistakes were made.
And then they were like, we need to make 4 more episodes, guys.
Yeah, and we used all of our budget in the first episode with Sonic and Tails. So, what do? Well, make it about Wade. You remember the guy who's Donut Lord's friend, kind of, who barely has a role in the fucking movies?
He's like, yeah, Donut Lord's
partner, right?
almost like forced on it friend, like
We work
the
together.
old
so we're
sheriff's
friends.
son that he had to like hire him because almost. That's the personality. Like, I'm stuck with
But
this.
you barely think of him as a character in those movies.
In the first one, for sure.
Yeah, and the second one, he like points them in the right direction. They
The
like
only-
hang out his garage or whatever.